What's up, you guys? Happy Sunday. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Orly and this is the DIY Designer. I do really fun DIY fashion and home decor, and I love doing styling videos that really help you think outside the box. And that's what today is going to be about. So today I'm going to revisit something I did as a winter version where I showed you all the ways you could wear a blanket scarf. I'm gonna show you all the ways that you could wrap a piece of fabric to make skirts and dresses and tops, because it's a really versatile piece, and especially spring break, maybe you're going on vacation, grab a piece of fabric and you're gonna have a bunch of different outfits. So the fabric that you're gonna need, the most important thing is that you get something with four-way stretch. That means that it's gonna stretch going both directions, both ways. That's gonna give you a lot more flexibility to create different looks and like wrap and tie and twist. Now, as far as how much fabric you need, I did 1.5 yards. I would say a good rule of thumb is 1.5 times your body. That's gonna give me enough overlap so that I can like wrap things. And again, remember, it's stretch. So 1 yard actually stretches into larger than that. Like I said, I did 1.5 yards and it was actually a little long. So I cut a piece. Where is that? Here it is. I just cut a piece. And now what you'll see, what's gonna end up being really cool is this piece becomes its own separate thing. I can wrap it and wear it as a top, but I can also do it as a belt to anchor the dresses and keep things exactly where I want them, which is gonna be really fun. Okay, let's get started. I'm wearing a slip skirt and just like a low bodysuit so that I can show you all the different ways how you're actually gonna tie it without like showing you my body. Okay, so first up, let's just do some maxi skirts because that is going to be one of the easiest things to do. We're gonna take it in the long, skinny way, right? You can go this way. That would be good for a dress, much longer. And we're gonna wrap. Now, there's a million options here. First one that is like so obvious is basically tying it like a sarong. You would just tie it on the side. Now, the one thing I'll say is you're not gonna have a lot of coverage with that because it is gonna open, right? There's no overlap there. So keep in mind, this is more something that's gonna work if you have a slip underneath that's sort of meant to be seen like a little slip tank dress, and you have a little show, or like bathing suit bottoms. And you can do the version like this where it kind of creates a V, you know, maybe like a little crop tee or a t-shirt tucked in or a white button down, something like that. And creating that sort of shape there is a really cool option. Now, another one that I really like is gonna give you more coverage. So we're gonna take it and we're basically going to crisscross. So switch your hands and crisscross, and we're gonna tie this super tight. The good thing about this stretch is, again, you have a lot of flexibility. You can tie tight, but it also feels really good. It feels like you're wearing like shapewear, which feels great. So I'm gonna pull this tight this way, pull this tight. I'm looking at a mirror, by the way, so I hope that's not distracting. You're gonna wanna make sure everything is laying flat. So if you need, you can pull this up. See here, I'm gonna kind of just let that lay flat so I don't have any bunching. So now you have the option of kind of doing a couple of things. You can just tie it in the back, just like that. What I love about the stretch fabric and tying it like this is it creates, look at all this cool, I don't know if you can see it because the fabric is printed, but there is all these really cool like ruching details that you can manipulate and control. It feels like heaven. Like I literally feel like I'm being like sucked in. It feels so, so good. You could wear it with heels, you could wear it with flats. It looks really cool, it looks really clean, really easy peasy, right? Love this one. Now another one, I'm gonna work, you kind of gotta work your way backwards. So if I know that I want this to be here, I know that I need the whole thing to kind of rotate slightly. So I'm gonna like skadooch it off to the side. So now I'll just take this part, I'm gonna kind of reach behind here so that I can pull it nice and tight. And now we're gonna tie here in the front. You end up with this sort of front tie, which I think looks really cool and looks nice. It also is gonna create more of that ruching and a visual interest because this part right here is flat and this part is pleated. Do you see kind of that little detail there? So that's another one. Okay, so one thing to note is that when you are taking them and you're tying them like this, they sort of naturally get shorter because all this like fabric kind of bunches up. So you end up losing some length. So if you do want it floor length, longer, you're gonna do more of a wrap situation, and this is when safety pins or like a slip skirt that's strong, like a Spanxy type skirt is gonna help. We're just gonna wrap it and we're gonna tuck it into the back of my skirt. This is like a strong elastic, so you can see I can pull on it and it's sort of anchored in there. So now you just wanna line it up, like where do you want it on your waist? And there's, again, a million options here for the drape that you want. So you can just wrap it all the way around and, you know, have this detail right here. And again, the fabric you pick is gonna transform the way this looks. Like, this fabric is really cool and I bought it because it felt very springy to me, but you're actually probably missing some of the detail because of the print. This is like floor length. I could wear this with heels if I wanted, and it feels much more like a really long column skirt, and it's really smooth. Let's just remember that with this fabric, there's also other options of ways you can create things. So like I could make a tube top and maybe crisscross it, tied in the front like this. Hello. Now you've got a tube dress. Pull this up so that it covers the bra on the back, and there you go. A little dress. Another way that this top itself could be tied, like a halter. So I'm actually gonna take this would go here, and these two tails are gonna go right into my skirt. I could either tuck this into my slip skirt, or I could just boop, and kind of anchor it there, and then I can sort of pull down, make things tighter if I want. You're just gonna pull really tight, really, really, really tight. It's such a simple thing. I mean, it's just like a long piece, you know what I mean? And then when you put like a skirt with it, the whole thing starts to look like a really nice fancy schmancy dress. Where you want to create pleats and you know, angles and tightness and slits and all that stuff you can play with. Let's say we want a shorter skirt. So an awesome thing to do is just fold it in half. So you're gonna fold it in half the same way so that it's long this way. And what I usually recommend doing is fold it in like, you know, in half as well as you can, and then flip it so that the fold becomes your clean finished hem right here on the bottom. For this particular shorter version, I would be doing more of the tucking, kind of like this thing here. Tuck it in, pull tight, create all the pretty ruching and shape based off your own body shape. Super important, what's flattering on your body. There we go. I can even create, like, see that overlap? I can tuck it in to the waist and you're gonna see that line, or I can kind of pin it right here and put like a pretty brooch, or from the inside, a safety pin. But again, it's super stretchy, so like once you anchor it, it's just gonna kind of stay in place. And you can manipulate it. So you can create like a V here and a V here. Really lot of flexibility for your own body. Okay, sorry. I keep looking in the mirror because I can't like see, the thingy is so small, so I'm like trying to make sure it all looks right. And there you go. Look at that little mini. Boop, boop. Creates a pretty shape, doesn't it? I think it looks nice. Instead of folding it directly in half, you're gonna make it into a triangle. It's not gonna be a perfect triangle because your fabric most likely isn't gonna be a perfect square, but you just wanna get it into some sort of triangle shape. And now what's fun about this is you're gonna have a lot of like asymmetric hems and details and draping. Let's try something here. Take it and then twist it again so that it kind of creates that little fold back on itself. Does that work? I mean, that's cool, but you'd have to wear something underneath. Let's just try this. We'll wrap this around this way and this around this way and just tie them. Now there we go. I can kind of take these two little tails if I want and tuck them underneath so that it just looks like a pretty knot. A little more polished maybe, which I think looks nice. Looking at this, I think I would want this to come below the butt a little bit. I think that's gonna look more flattering. So I'll pull that down. Oh, and it feels good too. See? Another cool version is you're gonna do more of the pinning. So we're gonna kind of fold this like this, and you would just pin it right there. But if not, I'm gonna just kind of like anchor it so you get the idea, just like that. But you could put a pin so it stays there, and you can see this creates a lot more movement. And so it's this similar asymmetric detail that you're getting, but it is, because it's a little looser, it kind of is a little bit more flowy, which is really pretty. And again, every top that you might have tops you want to make with that extra fabric, all of these skirts and all of these tops are like interchangeable pieces so that you have just like never ending combinations. You know, imagine taking just this fabric and that with you on a vacation. Like, you've got a million different things. So this is a fun one, has a really nice drape to it. I think it's time to move on to some dresses because I feel like we could play around with skirts for a really long time. Obviously, you can see there's a million ways. Now, for dresses, I am gonna turn it now this way so that it is longer going vertically as opposed to horizontally. First one we'll do is a halter. We're just gonna take the two corners and tie it at the neck. Let's say now this piece can become a belt. You want to create the appearance of a top and a skirt. So if you look right here at this draping, when I pull it, Do you see how it kind of creates like a bloused top over a fitted skirt? So you want to find for yourself that sweet spot. So you're gonna kind of pull it and wrap it now, just like this. Now this piece, again, you can do a real belt, like a structured belt if you want, or you take this piece and you just use it as like an anchor. And now it'll disappear, obviously, because it's the same fabric. Wrap it. You can tie it so that you see these ties. You can tie them and then tuck so that this disappears. Really up to you. For now, I'll just leave this little tie here. And what you can do for the neckline if you want is you kind of fold it in so it looks clean finished. I would either wear something like this underneath, or it would be some double stick. You would just put like double stick like right here and here, or maybe lower, maybe like right here and here. But this is another great one. Like, again, heels, flip-flops, even like sneakers. It's really cute and super flattering. I mean, so easy, you guys, it's so easy. Now, while we're here, I just want to show you how tying the neck tighter creates an entirely different neckline. If this was just tied tighter, this would all have to get loosened a little bit. But you would end up with something like this, which is an entirely other vibe. Instead of the really low V, you have something that feels a little bit more sophisticated, elegant. And the more you tighten it, the more of like a turtleneck that you can get. So it's totally, you know, adjustable in that sense. Let's say you still had it in that tie from when it was a kind of a looser halter. So take it, put one arm through it, and put the knot on your shoulder. Actually, let me make it tighter. So now you just need to close it. Million options here. Easiest is just belting it. You can use the sash, obviously, if you want. But for right now, I'm just gonna show you this. This is a clear belt. I love it. I wear it all the time. You're gonna create whatever is a flattering underarm line for yourself. Again, up to you and your bust. You could just pin it right there if you want, but I'm gonna put a belt. So I'm gonna keep my hand here to hold it, and then I'm just gonna kind of hold my belt right there. Okay. And now you can start to finagle, it's a word, the draping. So I would start to kind of like pull this out. I think it would be pretty to have one side drape and one side not. So I'm gonna let this side sort of drape in the front, the side, and the back, so it looks intentional, and keep this side strong. Look at that. Can't tell me that's not a pretty dress. I could easily wear this to like the fancy dinner on vacation, you know what I mean? Or, I mean, really anything. It is super fancy feeling, isn't it? I love it. We're gonna keep the tie, but we're gonna loosen it, kind of as loose as you can. We're gonna make a vest. We're gonna take the hole, and you're gonna put your arms through it. Now the knot is in the back, right? And now you have the option of wearing it like a draped vest, and this will depend on your length. Like for me, it's a little long. I mean, it would work with heels, but you can now have just this really cool vest, or you wrap it and you belt it, and now we have a really pretty dress. The benefit of a belt really is it keeps everything in place. Like nothing is gonna move. So however I wrap it, I can keep that exact shape for myself with very little effort. Two things you can do here. One is kind of like we said, you wear a little slit so that if it opens up, no problem. Take the bottom piece and overlap only the bottom so that your front stays centered, but your bottom kind of has that coverage. That actually works really well. That's probably what I would do. That's pretty. And the belt is fun. There are a few more dresses that we can do. We're gonna center this. You're gonna take these two pieces, twist them, and then tie. Obviously, try to ignore my thing. So another very easy one is just taking the two pieces, crisscrossing and tying. So you'll have this, see this like crisscross neckline? And now there's options within every dress, right? So for anything that's kind of overlapped, again, I could just wrap it and belt it, or you can like blouse it. So let's say I decide to leave this one long. This one, I could kind of blouse to create distinction between the bottom and the top. And really that just gives you the ability to create a little bit more shape. This is I DIY this belt forever ago. It's like still the belt I wear the most. So see, now I can kind of blouse it, and that piece is tucked into the belt. Another thing, by the way, with all the tops, if your fabric is pretty similar on the front and the back, you can take your fabric at the hem and fold it like this, and now these pieces can become their own thing. So like now I can make every long dress short by folding it in half, but it really only works very well if your fabric is really similar or identical. This fabric, the backside is just slightly more faded than the front, so I can really get away with it. You can't really tell, but I would recommend looking for that when you're looking for fabric, is trying to find something that's similar front and back, because now we have a million options with this. I can tie it in the front like this. I can wrap it around, so take it, crisscross it, and then tie it in the back, blouse it, and make yourself a short mini version of everything that we just did, so that like doubles up every long dress. There's so much. Cute, right? And it feels good because you feel nice and tight. It's so fun. Love it. You could wear this like a scarf. You kind of do the same thing where you cross it and fold it, and it can become like a really fun spring scarf where it's not so much for warmth as it is for like color and print and just like an extra element of visual interest. It feels nice. It's like cool and feels good. But so any way that you would normally wear kind of like a silk scarf or like a springtime scarf, you can wear this fabric. So another kind of top that you can make, almost like a belted top. So we're gonna fold it in half, long ways again, and put it on top just like this. I'll take this and I'll belt it. Then you just wanna like kind of loosen that a little bit. You leave it down like this, you just got this little like cape sleeve. You could put it up, again, which creates a little bit more of a tank situation, belted with the matching fabric or a contrast fabric. There's just too many options. You could blouse it. Again, oh, I think that's the way that I like it. That looks cool because now these ties sort of are in the same length. That's the way that I'm gonna wear it. That's pretty cool, I gotta say. And the back is just like open. So if you had jeans, you would just have this cool little back detail. I gotta say, that was fun. I wasn't planning on doing this one. I like it. All right, you guys, I think that's it. I'm sure I'm gonna think of other versions as soon as I finish this video, and I'm gonna be like, dang it, why didn't I show that? It's gonna happen. But I think you get the idea. Stretch, 4-way stretch fabric, 1.5 times your body width, gives you a million different things that you can do. This is a great thing to just have in a drawer along with your scarves. Think of all the ways you can wrap scarves you already own. It's not necessarily about going out and buying new fabric. Take a look at what you got. But if you guys are going on vacation, I highly recommend this. So I hope it was helpful. Thanks for being here, you guys. If you're brand new to the channel, I hope you'll subscribe and join me. I do videos every single week, and I'd love to have you. It would mean so much. And if you did like this video, please hit the like button and leave me a comment. It really, really helps the channel, helps tell the freaking algorithm that the content is muy bueno. So anywho, thanks so much. Love you guys. I will see you next week. I hope you all have a fantastic week.
Needed to, 'cause I got you, and you got me too.